Well, my name is Michael Volz. I am the owner and operator of Volz Method Piano Lessons. And we drive to the house of the students all over Utah to teach piano. And we also teach a unique method called the Volz Method. And it's unique because we actually teach them according to their strengths. So traditional lessons will just teach you how to read music only, but we actually teach you how to play by ear or compose your own music or even arrange an existing song, depending on the strength of the student. So as I was talking about traditional lessons, how they only teach you how to read music, we do teach people how to read music on a weekly basis, even just a little bit, if that's not their preferred way of learning. But we always focus in on their strength of composing, arranging, or playing by ear, or reading music if that's there. But we always supplement with fun music as well, because if they're interested in playing movie music or video game music, it's important that we make sure they have fun. Volz Method Piano Lessons currently has about 25 teachers teaching a little under 500 students all over Utah. All of our teachers are background checked. They go through 2 separate interviews, one to make sure that they can play and the second one to make sure that they can teach. And we also give them 3 months of training in the Volz method, because most of our teachers are coming from a normal traditional piano background, right? They're coming from like just learning how to read music. So we train them how to teach somebody to compose, arrange, play by ear, and even learn a little bit of improv jazz. It's basic 12-bar blues, actually. Music lessons are important, specifically piano lessons are important for children because you do have a lot of distractions. You have, and not to say that they aren't necessarily bad things, but you could have somebody who's only interested in playing video games or maybe just watching TikTok or YouTube videos, and they're not necessarily bad, but having a creative outlet is so vitally important. And piano is the basis for all music theory. If you go to college for playing guitar, or if you play any instrument, if you're a band director, a flute performance major, you have to take piano lessons because it's the basis for all music theory. So I think piano is where everybody ought to start. You don't have to get really good at playing it like a violin before you make a good sound. The advantage with the piano, of course, is that you can just get a better tuner if you're out of tune. There are 2 schools of thought when it comes to when a child ought to start lessons. Some people think they ought to start later when they are a little older and have a frontal lobe a little more developed, or they can read. Some people believe that, and I'm in this second camp, where they should start as early as possible, because then the music helps their brain develop, like their brain develops with music. So I really think that they should start really early, and then that way they get more intelligent over time. And there are studies that show that if they are in these extracurricular activities such as music lessons, they are going to be more intelligent and do better in school. A lot of people say that 6 years old tends to be the universal age for people to start piano lessons, and that tends to be, it is very person specific. If somebody is usually 6 years or older, we usually recommend a half-hour lesson. But if they are 4 or 5 years old, we have had much success with 4 or 5 years old, but we usually recommend a 15-minute lesson if they start that early. Our first core value is we are obsessed with finding what will motivate a student to practice, whatever that may be, with the ultimate goal of getting the student to develop an intrinsic love for the piano. We figure if they don't love it, not only is there no point to playing, but they're not going to get any better because they're not going to want to practice. So they need to love it, and then when they practice, it becomes a part of their life. And yes, they will eventually get to the point where they are using it as a de-stressor or an outlet or some sort of way to deal with life, which can be difficult. And so, piano is there for them to express themselves and to create and to just have joy in the joy of music. I talked about our first core value is that we want them to love the music, to love piano, right? Now, our second core value is that we have a growth mindset, and it reads like this. No one has ever arrived, nor is anyone a failure. Seeing our weakness is a good thing because it empowers us with the knowledge we need about ourselves to improve. We are committed to finding or pioneering the best pedagogy that would most effectively teach the student according to their needs, always improving how we teach, always improving the company and its employees. Volz Method Piano Lessons is not just a business, it's an academy. We believe in order to continually get better at what we do and to be the top performer of piano lessons, of piano teachers, we need to always have a growth mindset. And so everybody we hire, we make sure they understand our second core value. And you'll notice I have it memorized for a reason. It's because it's that important to us. We never want to stop learning and growing because we always want to get better at what we do. So in order to keep a child motivated, you need to know that child specifically. It's very important as a teacher that you ask correct questions, such as what movies are you interested in? What video games do you play? So that way they get to know the child and their world. If the child knows that you're on their side, as if to say, hey, piano is going to be practice, but I'm here to make it as fun as possible, then they are more willing to put in the work because they know that you're on their side. So the first thing we always do is we make sure to find music that they want to play. That's why we ask, what kind of movies they watch and, any video games they play. So we're going to find music that they want to play. That gets them, it's an easy thing to do, and it's a really effective way to get them motivated. But of course, unique to the Volz method is we always strive to find the approach that's going to work for them according to the 4 different areas that we take. So for instance, arranging, composing, playing by ear, and reading music all hit very different parts of the brain. So what we're going to do over the first few months is we are going to invite the student to arrange some music. We're going to invite them to compose. We're going to invite them to play by ear. And of course, we're going to invite them to read music, which we always do, even just a little bit. Then we're going to figure out what they like. And we're literally going to ask them, what did you like doing? Or what did you not like doing? And that's really important because then they kind of feel in control and they get to give you an answer, and then they get to go down the path that they want, and they're more excited. They find what they love, and they find they get better way quicker by focusing on their strength. And that is kind of the powerhouse duo that we use to get them motivated. Find the approach that's going to work for them and find the music that they want to play. Parents are an absolute critical role in their child's development and in piano lessons, what we've seen. All of our teachers go through 3 months of training, as I say, and part of that training is teaching the teacher that the parent, student, and teacher relationship is a triangle. So it's really important that there is a clear communication between those 3 people so that the student is not only held accountable, but also heard, and they're served according to their needs. So that, for instance, if the teacher might be struggling in getting the child motivated, they could go to the parent and ask for help, perhaps. And then the parent might have an idea, or perhaps the parent might talk to the student and get some more information, thus creating that triangle of support. And that is probably the most important part of a child's success we've seen, is having the parents, at least one parent involved. The most important part of our marketing is Peachjar. I'm not just saying that because this is coming from Peachjar. I promise you this is true. 80% of all of our students come from Peachjar. I'm so grateful for what they're doing because I get the word out directly to the exact customers, the exact demographic that I'm trying to go for, parents and their children, school-age children. So Peachjar has been absolutely paramount to getting, in fact, we don't even really find students in areas that don't have Peachjar set up. If Peachjar isn't set up, we almost don't have much success in finding students. I think the most important part of growing is the quality of the product or service that you give. If you have an amazing quality product or service, not only are you going to be more motivated to get it to people because you're going to be so much more excited, so is your team, and so are the people that are even taking the service from you. They're going to be excited. They're going to tell other people. Your marketing will not long-term be efficacious if you are not having a quality product. So that's why I strive more than anything else to, yes, we do look at our marketing and how effective each marketing tactic or route is, but we make sure to constantly improve so that we can always have an amazing quality service so that people will want to continually get served by us. All too often when people get on the phone with us in order to sign up their children or are considering signing up their students that are going to start piano, I get a lot of them saying the same thing, where they come from traditional piano lessons and it hasn't worked. My child Susie just does not work with traditional lessons. She doesn't like to read the music on the page. Do you have anything that can help us? Or even more often I hear people say, my child Susie is really good at composing, but nobody will teach her how to compose. Will you please do that? and I get to give them the good news that not only do we teach her to compose, arrange, play by ear, and etc. to find her strength, we'll come straight to your house. And so the first thing people would want to do is they would want to go to our website, volzpiano.com, V as in Victor, O-L-Z, there's no T in there, V-O-L-Z piano.com, and just make an appointment to chat with us and we can sign them up. As AI takes over our lives, I think that we are going to have an even worse crisis of meaning. We already do. 100 years ago, people were doing everything by hand, and now, with the invention of computers and things like that, we have more and more free time on our hand, and I think it's only going to get exponentially worse. I say worse because, yes, we will have more free time, but we need to know how to use it. So the crisis of meaning, I think partially is going to be importantly solved by creative outlets. It absolutely is going to be an absolute necessary part of our lives. Even though AI is going to be able to make music for us, we as human beings still need an outlet to put our creative juices into in order to keep our minds alive and vibrant and really wanting to have a reason to live. Living alone is not the purpose of life. We have to have a reason to be here, and music colors in the lines of our life.